Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well, and today I'm updating you with a position that I sold. So I did not sell all of this position, but I did take about 15%, 10 to 15% of my position of profit, and I took 154% gain on this stock, which is absolutely amazing. And we'll talk about that stock in a second, but overall I'm very happy with them gains, and just in general in a year of investing, I'm really happy with how this year's gone. I mean, generally the market conditions have helped me. Having, the stock market high to then dipping right down and then going back up again is probably like one of the easiest times to make money in the stock market. And I have put down all the gains and even the losses that I have had this year in the stock market, and they have been fantastic. I have been a little bit more active in the stock market this year. I mean, normally I'm kind of selling like 3-4 stocks, but I've been a little bit more active, and that was kind of a bit of criticism from myself. Like, one of the targets I had going into the year 2020 in the stock market was to be a little bit more active and actually, take them profits, put it back somewhere else, and be a bit more active on trimming positions and taking that profit. Because the problem is that if I never take them profit from them positions, I can never say that they're in profit really, and I can never use that profit to go and buy bigger positions somewhere else. So one of the targets that I did go into 2020 to help me improve as an investor was to be a little bit more active on taking profits, which obviously I have done. There's been some very good gains on here, and like I say, that's one of the targets I had. I'm always trying to improve myself as an investor, and I think this year has to be probably my best year as an investor. There's been some very good profits that I have had. Obviously a couple of losses, but definitely like the profits outweigh the losses. I always like to be transparent. I always like to say, like what I'm buying, what I'm selling. And you can see like somewhere on my channel this year, I've made a video about all the times that I have taken these profits and when I have had to sell stocks at losses, unfortunately, which is the first year I've actually sold stocks at losses, which was, obviously only 2 companies when you look at the bigger picture, but still something to work on, I guess. But yeah, very happy with how this whole year has gone. I mean, from Tesla being up 250%, JD 300%, Microsoft 100%, Alibaba 70%, Win Resorts 8%, iRobot 80%. There's been some really fantastic gains. So like I say, I'm really happy with how this year's gone. Definitely my best year as an investor for sure. So I'm really happy with it. And like I say, we've got another new company that we can add to this list of being a free figure club, which is really good. The likes of Tesla and JD and Microsoft. So yeah, I think I thought I'd just cover that. So if you can smash the like button as well, I forgot to say that at the start, that'd be amazing. And if you are new, subscribe, and maybe you can see some of the things I do to kind of get some of these gains in the stock market. But yeah, we have had a really good year, and I'm really happy with how everything's gone. And like I say, we've got another company to add to this list, and I will cover why I sold a little bit of that company. Like I say, I sold about 10% to 15% on my stake in that company, and I think if you watch my portfolio review, you'd be able to guess which one that is. So I have sold a little bit of a stake in another company, and that company is Pinterest, which I'm a big fan of. So I'll be covering the reasons why I sold about 10 to 15% of my stake in Pinterest. And like I say, obviously I'm still very confident in the company, because otherwise I wouldn't still hold that 80% stake. But like I say, on one position in my portfolio, I was up 150%. The other portfolio, I'm up 200%. And I just felt like it was probably the right time now to take some profits away from Pinterest. The stock has been on an unbelievable run right now with some fantastic earnings. But one thing that straight away caught me was like how much of these earnings and how much of the stock price gain is due to the corona. And obviously the corona is not going to be around for another probably a year, 2 years, 3 years. So if I take that away, how much is that going to affect the company? Is it going to be growing as much? And are these kind of like artificial numbers? And there is a little bit in there, and that's one thing that I do want to be careful of. So the stock has been on a very good run, and there's never anything wrong with taking some profits. And also I do think there's some artificial numbers in there that might not be able to continue in future years. So I think it's a good time for me to start now trimming away at my Pinterest position. So like I say, I did take 10%. Another thing that I do have a bit of a worry, and like I said, I want to make this very big, very clear, is that I am obviously still very confident in the company. Otherwise I would have sold 100% of the position. But one thing that I do want to make clear as well is like the valuation. I mean, I'm a shareholder and I've still got a big stake in it, but I want to say, the company is really overvalued. Trading at a price sales ratio of 30 is extreme. I think like for me to buy the company, it would have to be under a 10. So it's, the share price needs to kind of come down for a little bit from here to get, if I was a buyer, to get new investors in. So from a price to sales ratio as well, the company is extremely overvalued. So that's me as an investor saying that. And 30 is just crazy. So I think from the valuation point of view, the company has had a good run and the valuation needs to come down. Another thing as well is that I think the company will do very well in Q4 because Q4 is historically its strongest quarter. And I think management have sandbagged the numbers as well in Q4. But Q4 could be massive. You got the Christmas rush, advertisers wanting to get on. You probably got a second lockdown coming in there, so maybe people are going on to like Pinterest for ideas to do, which will help them once again. So I think like Q4 could be very, very good for Pinterest. But the thing is, after Q4, which is Q1, obviously, but normally Q1 is the weakest quarter for Pinterest, and that's one thing that I do want to be really careful of. So obviously, there's a chance that I do trim a little bit more after Q4, but I don't want to gamble just solely on Q4 being very good for Pinterest. So I want to be careful of my profit and just trim a little bit. And then, like I say, I'll wait to Q4. I mean, if the stock goes up crazy, to Q4, then maybe I do sell a little bit more. But I think Q4 could be good. And then from Q4, once again, I could see myself trimming, 10 to 20% of this position once again. So I'm still a big fan of Pinterest, but I think like this was the right time to take them profits. And like I said, I want to be a little bit more active. I don't know, I'm not going to be a day trader or a swing trader or anything like that. But I do want to be a little bit more of, one of the advantages that I do have right now is that I'm currently earning more money than I have ever done in my life, which means that I can put more and more money into the stock market as well. And because of that, I want to kind of take profits and build bigger positions and keep scaling my portfolio up. And to do that, unfortunately, I do need to sell a couple of positions to help me keep moving that portfolio forward. So like I say, that's one thing that I did want to do, because otherwise, if I still had the positions that I bought in 2017, I mean, sure, I would be up crazy amounts, but my portfolio would be nowhere near the size of what it is right now without selling and using them profits and then making more profits on other companies. So I do kind of see that point of view, but at the same time, I want to take them profits and use them. And when it's a company that I do believe is probably a little bit overvalued right now, with some artificial numbers in there, I think it was a good time to sell Pinterest. So I thought I'd update you with that kind of situation there, that I am starting to take some profits in Pinterest now. So I hope you enjoyed it, and maybe that gives you a little bit of use as well for you guys that maybe are starting to get up on positions right now, because the stock market has been on a very good run recently. So yeah, hopefully that's a little bit useful. So I thought I'd share that one with you guys anyway. So I hope you enjoyed it anyway. If you can smash the like button, subscribe if you're new around here, and I'll see you in the next video.